Yeah, thank you very much. Ottawa, welcome.
Excellent.
Ottawa, welcome to the Brotherhood.
Fantastic. Yes, if we were gladiators, you would be the winner and I would be the test dummy. But
well,
you wouldn't miss.
That would depend on Stephen tonight. He's a twisted fucker.
Cool, you having a good con?
You know what, I really want to say, like, I haven't done many Comic-Cons, and what they're enabling me to do is they're enabling me to meet the fans, the people behind that television screen that myself and all my fellow practitioners work very hard to entertain. You know, this is pay dirt. This is where I find out truly how we affected the public. And it's amazing to be on the other side of the planet. You know, I'm from New Zealand. Yeah, you know, I grew up in a pretty small town, and you know, I had some tragedy in my life when I was young, which made me in the arts. And you know, I struggled like every other young person to find a path, and I found it somehow in performing arts and in acting. And you know, everyone's got that set of emotions within them to sort of create something artistic in their lives. You know, but it really took a long time for me to learn that you need to work with people. You know, it's a people industry. The acting industry is also a financial industry. So it's not just about impressing people. You've actually got to be very diligent at making things work for people who own property, who need to make money from property. And, you know, just after all of this time, you know, 20 years basically of working, I've found myself with that very unique privilege of being on great shows such as Spartacus, you know, amazing movies, you know, with Peter Jackson. There's nothing more exciting, trust me, than when you get a phone call that says, Peter Jackson wants you to be in The Hobbit. And you know, and recently, you know, my first breakthrough as an Australian New Zealand actor, you know, the opportunity to come and work on the other side of the planet in Canada, you know, and I'm living in Vancouver. God damn it, Canucks!
I'm from Vancouver. We do that.
But hey, go Ottawa! Get that Stanley Cup here. Yeah. You know, yeah. So you know, it's such an incredible transition for me in life. Hey, beautiful. Yeah, and that was like that scene where Lucretia and Navia were up in the Pulvinus, and I went like this, and like Alithia and Lucretia and Navia. I said that through there, and I saw a couple of people that I knew as well. Yeah, hi too. Hey, but you were the Navia. Hey, darling. Yeah, you know, it's just such an incredible journey, you know. So I'm very, very humbled to be here. I met a couple of local Native American girls. Are they here? What's the local Native American tribe? Algonquin, yeah, Algonquin girls. I don't know, maybe they've left already, but if anybody here is from the Algonquin tribe, kia ora. I'm a Maori, I'm indigenous, and thank you for having me on your land.
Thank you for being here, too. This is great. What we're going to do today is we're going to have some questions for you, but before you go, I'm a huge fan. Arrow has blown up. It's crazy.
He's throwing an arrow?
Well, you have to learn how to survive.
He's in the flashbacks on the island.
It's a tough island.
It is. Now, I guess the first question, when you went into Arrow, you was on Spartacus for how many seasons now?
I don't know, years?
Spartacus was officially 3 seasons, including a prequel.
Yeah. Way too short. Way too short.
I thought you said, where's my shorts?
Where's your shorts? Honestly, I've seen stuff. After watching Spartacus, I think you need to ask that on a way more regular basis. Where are my shorts?
Well, I can't do my pants up again. It hasn't been a problem.
Anyone help me with this?
Yeah, look, you know, I mean, Spartacus. How many people watch Spartacus here? Yeah. You know the journey, you know, wow. I was just saying to so many people, like, you know, like doing a film, it gives you 90 minutes with an audience, you know. I mean, Spartacus gave me 4 years with an audience, and, you know, for each and every one of you who came to the booth today and said hello to me, you know, it was like, you know, I don't feel like a star or whatever. I know I'm the label of the milk carton, you know, but there's milk in that carton, and I don't make that milk. A lot of other very talented people make that milk. Okay, and you guys drink it because it's for you. Okay, so I'm just the guy on the cover going, drink me. So for you to come to the counter day after the day for the last 3 days and be taking money out of your wallet and you know, being part of this business, which is a great business, it's a great enterprise. I take my hat off to Comic-Con because they've built the bridge that brings you and me together. You know what I mean? And it's so fulfilling. You know? Yeah. I mean, I wish I could do it for free. But it takes an event like this, and an event like this takes money, and it's a great business, and it does serve us all very well. But you know, like for 4 years I've sat, you know, in a studio in New Zealand, you know, making this production. And for 4 years you guys have been here in Ottawa, or wherever you might be from, you know, behind that box that it all gets sent through space and in through that screen, you know. So you know, sitting there on that panel, on that desk, you know, signing autographs for you guys, you know, such a fulfilling end to the whole procedure. You know, I have to say goodbye to Spartacus now. You know, I actually bought. I was in Los Angeles at the end of last year, and I didn't want to say goodbye to Crixus. So I was walking through a car yard looking at, you know, Mustangs. I was thinking, ooh, I'm going to get my first American car, and I'm going to make it a muscle car, because I want to call it Crixus. And so I was walking through this car yard, and there I saw it, a gold and black Hearst Mustang. Yeah. There was only ever 3, there was only 50 of them ever made, the Hearsts, and there was only 2 of them ever hardtop with the gold and the black. And I grabbed it straight away, and I went round to a place that fitted stereo and audio systems, because it had a fairly basic one. So I spent about 10 grand on this audio system. And when you lift up the boot of the car, it's got 2 10-inch subwoofers in the back, and embossed in black leather is Crixus. And I'm telling you, shall I begin? Yeah.
It sounds very understated. Excellent. We have people who want to ask you questions. So this island is only built for one. I'm going to let you do it, man.
Thank you, brother.
Have a good one. See you later, everybody.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, very good.
I don't know if you remember me. I got a photo with you yesterday. Did you see that? Okay, do you remember that? It turned out awesome, dude. It turned out awesome.
So many bodies have fallen.
My question is, out of all the stuff that you've done, is there anything where you were just completely overwhelmed, or you were like, how am I going to do this? Or, you know what I mean? What was the one thing, or if there's a couple things where you were just like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this?
You know what, a year before Spartacus, I was offered the role of, any people watch the UFC here? Okay. There's a documentary called The Smashing Machine. Is anybody aware of that? Mark Kerr, yeah. I got given the role to play Mark Kerr, but not before I did a hell of a lot of work. And part of that work involved, and I'll admit it here in front of everybody, because I'm a very dedicated actor. I don't like to go into roles and leave anything unturned, and I feel like I need to know the experience somehow of the person that I'm playing, or something about that character in order to make it real. Mark Kerr was an incredible UFC fighter way back in the day, where the rules were very slim. And but you know, he had a problem with steroid addiction and painkiller addiction. You know, and I put myself into this role quite wholeheartedly. I'm not a method actor, but at the time I thought, I went to a good friend of mine who I'd known since I was a child called Paul Haslam, and Paul was the Mr. Universe for Australia at one stage. And I said, Paul, listen, I want this role. I've got to play this guy. I want to understand it. And he said, well, Manu, if you're going to do that role, there's only one way to do it. And I knew what he meant. So, you know, I did 3 months of doing courses of getting bigger. And I'm not, you know, it's not something that I would advise to anybody. It's not something that I would say I'm proud of, but it's something that I did as a decision. And it was a very, very big step to take. And I wanted that role so badly. And next thing, I was 20 kilograms heavier. I mean, at the heaviest playing Crixus, I was 85, 86 kilograms. I got to 105 kilograms to play Mark Kirk. So if you thought Crixus was something to mess with, I was like, my neck was out here, and I had this ass. I was like John Cena. Shall I begin? Can you imagine that? And anyway, so I went all the way to South Africa to film this movie, and Jean-Claude Van Damme was meant to play my coach in the film. Well, he was meant to play Mark Coleman, and supposedly my image got handed around and got sent over to Jean-Claude and whatnot, and the next thing, Jean-Claude wasn't in the film. And that was 3 days before we were meant to start filming. So I had that fall over, and I'd spent every cent that I had on trying to get that role right, and given up my house, and you know, I had nowhere to go home to. And they sent me on a plane out of there with not a penny. They didn't pay me a cent. And I got back to Australia, and a friend of mine had a building company, and everyone had heard that the film had fallen over, and I got back, and my friend said to me, hey Manu, look, I know you strapped for cash, I've heard, you know, can I offer you some work? So they were building this house out in the rich area of Sydney called Vaucluse, and so I went to work there. Basically for about 3 months I dug out a swimming pool, and my manager would ring me and she'd go, Manu, we're going to get you out of that hole, we're going to get you out of that hole. And I was going, you better hurry up because it's getting deeper. And so, but one of the things that came out of that was that, you know, Crixus was a hauler of stone, you know, and he was amongst all of these men. I mean, for about 8 or 9 months I worked on this building site, and I was amongst real men, and I was doing a real hard day's job. And I learnt again, you know, because the acting world can be a soft world, you know, I mean, we try to go hard, but, you know, but I learnt again about people and about hard work. And then my manager rang me about 8 months of working on this site. She said, Manu, I got this role for you. Spartacus, it's called. And she said, here's the role. I read the role and I went, Ananias. Interesting. So I went and I read for Ananias. And it came back that no, they've said no to that, but now they want you to read Barker. Going for the audition for Barker, right? Then I get this message back that they're going to fly me to America to screen test for Barker, and I was like, oh, great. Anyway, 2 days out from flying, and I was so excited. I told all my friends on the building site, I said, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Because they called me Hollywood. They were like, you're going to get back there, mate. You're going to get back there. I was like, they're going to go Hollywood. I said, I think I've got it. I think I'm going to play Barker. They're going to fly me to America. Then I got this phone call. They said, no, Barker's going to die a few episodes into the season. So they're going to cast it locally in New Zealand. So that's over. I was like, oh. And anyway, I have a little daughter called Huia. And, you know, her and I were sitting in the bird aviary at Sydney's Taronga Zoo. And she was in the pram, and I was just sitting there thinking, oh my Lord, how am I gonna live? And suddenly the phone rang. And what's this voice? It was the producer. He goes, Manu, this is Rob Tapper.
we've all seen your audition, and we like it very much. But, you know, you worked with us on Xena back in 1998, and there was a specific sword fighting scene that you were in where I think you told all the stunt guys they should hit each other. When I was on Xena, I did this stunt fight, and I said to these guys, these things are made of rubber, let's just hit each other. And the safety officer came on board and went, stop, cut, you guys can't do that. So Rob said to me, look, everybody in the studio, everybody likes you, but you've got to tone it down. We got to know that you're not going to hurt our Spartacus, the actor. And I'm sitting there pushing this pram, listening to these birds tweeting in this aviary. Okay, I promise, Rob, I promise. And he said to me these words, he said, welcome to Spartacus. And I was like, Anyway, I got out of that hole, and I went to New Zealand, and sorry, I forgot what your question was.
No, I just gave you an answer about, what sort of thing was very difficult, or what's
That's right. Well, the transition, having built up so much for one warrior, and having lost that role, and then having to go all the way back down to base level, go all the way back to ground zero, and then trying to build my way back up, and finding my way through to the role of Crixus. That was such a huge, epic journey for me. Yeah. Thanks for the question, brother.
Hello.
Hey, darling.
Hi again. I wanted to know if you could have a dream role, like any role that you would ever want to play, what it would be, even if it's something that's already been done in the past that could be redone.
Crixus.
Something you haven't done yet.
I met this guy in the elevator. Luke, you are my son. I met Darth Vader at the hotel yesterday. But it's funny because in playing Azog, when I was offered the role of Azog, I was talking to my manager, going like, oh my God, how am I going to play this penultimate Tolkien bad guy, giant orc. And she was like, she's German, and she went, Manu, you just have to be a perverted Hobbit torturer. Well, you're German, that comes easy. So I went and I got out The Empire Strikes Back and Jaws on that night, the night that I got offered it, and I went home and I watched Empire Strikes Back. So I watched because Joseph Campbell, he gave advice to George Lucas on how to shoot Star Wars, and they spoke very, at length about A Hero of a Thousand Faces and how, every culture's got a similar story, and things are certainly iconic. And so when they built the Death Star stuff, they based it upon the Nuremberg rally, Hitler and the Nazi party, the German soldiers at the Nuremberg rally. So, I sort of, I thought iconic thing would be to be like Hitler. That's why if you see Azog, when he's talking, he's like, he gets, I use that kind of, fervent, voice. And, but then I knew that he was this beast, this sort of, very obviously dangerous beast. And I didn't want to spend the whole movie going, rah, rah, rah. Because you'll notice that the orcs in Lord of the Rings, they were all inanimate masks. So whenever you saw them, they just had a snarl on their face, and they just rah, rah, rah. And I didn't want to do that. So I did this. I sort of lurked with him and made him a shark, so that those teeth that he had would just come in and go. lift the guy up and throw him and feed him to the wolves. Yeah, he's got a very sharkish quality. You can see that. See, I always was trying to think of him as a shark. Jaws. But yeah, darling, I think I'm actually getting the roles that are my dream. My dream's coming true, you know. You know, if I had a dream about something else, I'd be greedy.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, you know what? I will answer one more thing. I'm a Maori, so if ever somebody in New Zealand gets the money to make a film that's about a Maori warrior, that's what I want to play.
Hi Manu, I just want to say first of all that you are awesome in Arrow.
Thank you.
I forgot my question. Sorry. What's it like working on Arrow?
You know, it was a really interesting journey for me coming into Arrow. Stephen Amell was one of 3 actors that came to New Zealand to try out for Spartacus. There was Liam McIntyre, Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow, and there was a really good-looking brown-haired guy that came off like My Mother's Daughter or Sons of the New York-based sort of soap. Like Days of Our Lives, based My Mother's Daughters or something. All My Children. It didn't get to New Zealand, and obviously it didn't get to Canada either. So who knows? But yeah. So these 3 guys were going for the role of Spartacus, and Stephen was probably the most tense. I honestly think, and I've spoken about this in questions, so I don't think I'm deriding him or undermining him by talking about this. But sometimes when you go for these big screen tests, you shit yourself, literally. I mean, you get into a big room, and there's a whole bunch of studio execs and they're all smiling at you, and you're all smiling back, and it's like, and you've got to snap into some sort of, charismatic actor, some sort of amazing character that's going to make them think, whoa, that owns the screen. And when you walk into a room and there's 10 guys better looking than you, there's 10 guys that look like they're intensely great actors, you're just wondering what that little bit of something is that you can do that's going to make it any different. So Stephen Amell tried out for Spartacus, and I read with him, and he was really stiff, and even Liam McIntyre was so nervous. I grabbed him, I was in his caravan with him, I said, brother, this is all about truth, bro, drop it, just drop any precondition, don't think about anything, think about the dialogue, you're going to be in this camera scene opposite me, and you and me are going to have a conversation heart to heart. Let's not. Don't think about yourself. Let's do Meisner. Let's do Lee Strasberg. Let's do whatever to get through this. But just let's really read each other as 2 human beings, and find it that way. And but Stephen was very stiff. He was just agitated by the process, I think. So of course, I saw him the following year at Comic-Con San Diego. And I think he was a bit kind of like, he was a bit embarrassed because he didn't get the role, and there was Liam, and the 2 of them met, and Liam was like, oh, yeah. This thing was like, and I'm sure he walked away going, you fucking Spartacus pricks. And we're all going like, oh, that's the guy that didn't get it. Shall I begin? So, coming into Arrow, I realized I was going to go and start a life with this guy, Stephen Amell, right? And I just remembered him being kind of like, there was nothing, so, and here I was playing that particular antagonistic or that powerful role in front of Oliver Queen, stuck on the island as a kid. So there was interesting kind of dynamics already going on between how he and I sort of had a life that was existing anyway. So, you know, I got into it, and one of the things that stood out for me was that if I read an Arrow script, and I read a Spartacus script, I read a Spartacus script and I was like, oh, fucking kidding me. Oh my God. and if I read the Arrow script, it was like, you know, very, very a different style. You know, it's a different style. And I became a little bit prejudiced when I first started playing Arrow, because I was thinking to myself, like, you know, this script isn't as grand or operatic as Spartacus. You know, the world isn't as elaborate, the costumes aren't as da-da-da-da. And I started talking to myself, I started having this dialogue in my head about, you know, is this show as good as Spartacus? You know, da-da-da-da-da. And I was wrong. I was very, very, very wrong about that. And I had to address myself within the last few months about what was going on with that mentality. And I realized something was true. One thing was that I'd come off something that was like an opera and had been this grand style of performance and this incredible costuming and whatnot. And somebody else had taken my classical music away and they'd put a modern day pop tune in front of me. And like American Idol or anything where you see people who have to adjust their styles to be commercially viable in this world, to be sellable, I had to check that I actually was the one who wasn't ready. I was the one who wasn't up to it, and I was the one who had to learn the rhythm of this fantastic show called Arrow, which is now rating higher, getting more audience members than Spartacus ever did. And the people that I'm working with, the people on Arrow are fantastic. They embrace me straight away. Like, I'm lucky. Through time you learn, I think, you know. I remember the first television shows that I did, and I'd get onto the set and I'd be like, hi everyone, you know, and I'm trying to overcompensate and everything, and then, you know, you kind of like, you know, there's a time as you go through, I guess, if any of you, when whatever job you've ever done, whatever jobs that you do, you know, you start off feeling like something, and then years later it's just so secondhand, and all it's about is about the people relationship that you've got, and you know, at this point, you know, I feel like, you know, through Spartacus, especially 4 years with these wonderful practitioners, I just became friends, and we just learned to put all that other shit behind us and just get on with the job and be defined with it. And you know, the Arrow people are very, very fine practitioners, and I'm kind of like, you know, just really happy to be working with top-notch practitioners on a pop tune. You know? But you know, Deathstroke is what's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm not allowed to officially say anything about Deathstroke and where I'm going with that role. There's no definition yet in our scripts that say Slade Wilson is going to be Deathstroke, but you know, in all logic, it should work out that way. But you know, it's going to be a very interesting. You know, I'm just getting my head around it now. I'm just starting. I mean, I just ordered out here at the comic stand. I met the guy who's selling the Slade comics, and I've just ordered every Slade comic that's ever existed, because I'm going to get ready for this motherfucker. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the future episodes.
Thank you.
Hi, Manu. I'd first like to thank you on behalf of everyone for coming to Ottawa and speaking with us.
Each one weaker and whipper than
As scenes, of course, were some of the last to be completed on The Hobbit, which meant that the actors were wrapped long before you. Would you mind just commenting on the difficulty of acting without having the reference of other actors there at the time?
Do you mean on Hobbit?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, motion capture is a very strange style of acting, but it's
but strange only in that I didn't know how to do it. I wasn't aware of it. Basically, motion capture came from video gaming. You know, it was a technology that they built into video gaming, like Street Fighter and that, where basically you just get somebody in and they put reference points, which are like electric monitors on you, but basically in a room, you get red in a 360-degree angle. So, you know, if I'm going like that, then I'm going like that, then I'm going like that. You know, that's 3 different shots in static film with a lens. But in motion capture, you get a 360-degree coverage of your movement. So it's like Tron. Your skeleton gets sucked into a computer, and then they just stretch Azog's skin over the top of me and make him bigger. And it's like, you know. So, but yeah, the interesting thing is, yes, you shoot motion capture after all of the battle scenes, after everything else has been shot. And then they know where to reference you in the shots. They'll know where to pick you, and somebody else will choreograph a kind of a thing that you've got to do within that space. So it's a little bit predetermined. But you know, I mean, but like for instance, I got down there and I put on this green suit. First thing they said to me was, they brought in these shoes and they said, "These are Andy Serkis's shoes. You guys have got the same size feet. Do you want to wear them?" No, I'll take the Pradas. Yeah. So, you know, so they gave me Andy Serkis's shoes, and I stepped into these things, and you know, then we pulled on this really tight green bodysuit, right? That's got these monitors on it, and you feel like an idiot. I swear, I don't know whether you've ever put on a spandex suit, you know, and tried to act like a giant orc. You know, and that's one of the hurdles. You've got to get out of this idea of that, and then look at, you know, there's a monitor that comes up that's got a sort of a semi-rendered image of Azog, you know, and I was looking at this thing and they told me play with it for an hour. So I was just looking up at this screen, I was walking along and I was thinking like, how do you make this guy, you know, if I walk like this, it's not very, you know, it's just sort of like he's got these musculature kind of shape, you know, and it's like when he turns, you sort of, you know, you look at it, and you just, it's like playing an instrument. You learn how to touch it, you know, you learn how to feel it, and you know, and then they wheeled in this, this pommel horse, you know, from the gymnastics, you know, the funny gymnastics bit where people run at it and they just run into it. It was a bit like that. They bring this pommel horse, right? And they say, "You want to jump on top of that?" I'm like, "Oh no, we're going to climb up on top of this thing, right?" So here I am, like, I'm on top of this thing like this, right? And I'm like in a green bodysuit, right? I mean, I feel like I'm at some perverted party, you know? I'm just looking for Andy Serkis to go, "Woohoo! Over here," right? So here I am in this bloody thing, right? And these 2 guys come out and I've got the bars that I rented and they're pulling it around, so I'm like this, I'm like, whoa. And Peter Jackson's saying, "That's your giant wolf. It's called a warg. And you're on top of this wolf, right? And so what we're going to do is you're going to ride down this hill, and then you're going to come in front of this giant tree, you know, this giant big pine tree." And so, you know, he says, "Just follow my instructions. I'll call out how to do it." And I'm like, "Okay, Pete, no worries, mate." Good wag. Okay, here we go, okay? And action. Okay, Pete, what's going on? Okay, you're coming down the hill, okay, right? Here we go. Now the big tree's in front of you. Okay, you stop. You look up. There's Thorin Oakenshield up in the tree. Okay, now you say the line about, "Can you smell the fear?" "Bark, dude, I'm walked out." Can you imagine trying to do this shit? It's unbelievable. And he's like, "Okay, now Thorin Oakenshield has spotted you. He can see you. He's getting up. He's coming down toward you. He's pulling out his sword."
doesn't it? Right? But these monitors all around the room are coming in and they're taking all my physical action and they're stretching that big guy Azog over the top of it. And I've got to, in that sort of very strange, weird environment, I've got to sort of ignore all of the stuff that would make you feel self-conscious, and I've got to become this big guy with this big war mace and just fucking own it, you know, own it. I'm on a. So I said to Peter, I said, Pete, 1 second, mate. I feel like I'm sitting here in a spandex suit on top of a pommel horse in the middle of a big empty space. I want to relate with something. Can I have a relationship with my wag? Seriously, Pete came out like this. He went. He doesn't wear any shoes, and he went. What? My wag. Can I have a relationship with it? Like, you know, like the Lone Ranger has silver, right? Like Azog has, like, this is my wag, isn't it? This is... You know, like something, you know, because how about this? How about when I come down, instead of like riding down and going like, can you smell the fear? My fellow walks. Can I rub the neck of my wag? And can I say to my wag, Babakti, Amush? Yeah, and it worked.
We have a 0 countdown.
Oh, that's
it. You're amazing. You're telling a story like nobody else.
Yes, hey.
I'm up for your award?
Yeah, yes. Can you smell the fear of deep? Yeah, please.